tutorial is going to be on creating a logo using our golden ratio circles here. And we're going to create a logo similar to my logo, which are just the initials of my name, Alejandro Balari. But instead, we're going to create the letters C and the letters D. Okay? So, if you haven't seen my previous video on making golden ratio circles or golden ratio squares, stop this video, go to that one, and create this figure here, extract your circles like this, and then come back to this video because we're going to need them for our logo. Create a new document. I'm going to be using 1920 by 1920. You can use whatever you prefer. There really is no right or wrong here. Then we're going to drag our circles into our new document. Okay, and we're going to resize our circles. Now, just a cool little tip here. I'm going to resize using Shift and Alt. If you resize using both Shift and Alt, when you drag, it proportionally changes it from both sides, okay? Whereas if you click just Shift, it only, proportionally though, it changes it from one side, okay? Where this would apply is if you, say you had this circle in the middle of your artboard, neglecting these circles here, and you wanted to enlarge it so that it was evenly distributed in the middle of the circle. You can enlarge it by holding Shift and Alt, dragging one of these anchor points, and if you notice, it enlarges it evenly within your artboard from both directions. However, if you were to click Shift, it only enlarges it proportionally from one direction. Just a quick little tip there. So let's get our circles now and align them to our artboard. So selecting all our circles, we're going to go to the Align panel, make sure that it says Align to Artboard, and align our circles both vertically, or excuse me, horizontally, and then vertically. And before we start designing, you also want to make sure that you have your smart guides turned on. So go to the View tab up here and make sure that there's a check mark next to this box, or next to smart guides. The smart guides are what let you know, or excuse me, when you draw a shape, they keep that shape within lines that already exist in your design so that things can look evenly distributed. Well, not look evenly distributed, so that they can be evenly distributed. Okay? So, oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's put that back. Another key thing to remember is that when you design with golden ratio circles, you want to, if you ever resize your circles, you want to resize your circles together. If you do it differently, if you resize them differently, you're not going to maintain your golden ratio. So you have to resize them all together at the same time. Okay? So I'm not going to use these three circles for now. I'll put those to the side. And I'm going to duplicate this by selecting my object, holding Alt on the keyboard, and dragging to the right. Okay. Then I'm actually going to make these a little smaller so that it fits within my artboard. Again, remember, I'm selecting all my circles so that when I use them, I'm maintaining the golden ratio aspect. Okay. I'm going to move, one of these circles is going to become the C, this other circle is going to become the D, or the base of my D. So I'm going to remove, and now I realize how much sexual innuendo is going on here, but please ignore that and watch this video for informative reasons. Alright, so let's get our letter D here, and I'm going to drag this a little more down here, okay, and holding selecting both of these circles and then holding Shift and Alt, I'm going to drag a duplicate so that the bottom edge of the circle meets with the the top edge of the inner circle right here, like that. So if you look, the smart guides are telling me that they are intersecting, which is what I want. Okay. Now we're going to create our the stem of the D. So we're going to get our rectangle tool, which is also M on the keyboard, and starting from the center of this circle, we're going to create our rectangle, dragging outwards to the edge of these two circles and then to the bottom of this circle. Again, looking at the smart guides to make sure everything is snapping to the right place. Okay, then we're going to grab the edge of this rectangle and just drag it so that it meets with the edge of these rectangles. Okay, or excuse me, these circles. Now we're going to use our shape builder tool to delete the areas that we don't need and combine the areas that we do need. But first, we're going to get a rectangle and draw behind our entire object here. So getting the rectangle tool, we're clicking M, and we're going to get rid of the stroke, but give it a random foreground color. Let's see, let's go to our swatches, and let's give it a purple. Okay, we're going to draw a rectangle behind our entire object, make sure everything fits inside the rectangle, and then arrange it so that the rectangle is behind our object there. Then, selecting both the rectangle and our objects, we're going to click on the Shift Builder tool, or Shift and M, Shape Builder tool, excuse me, not the Shift Builder tool, the Shape Builder tool, holding Shift and M. And if you notice, any area that's highlighted is the area that you're affecting. The default is a plus sign, so if I were to run my cursor over these two areas right here, it would effectively combine them. If I hold on Alt on the keyboard, it will pull up the negative sign, which effectively subtracts an area from our object, like I did there. So what we're going to do is subtract our background. We don't need that. We don't need this, 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 and we can combine that and that. Let's zoom in here. We don't need this, and that'll stay combined like that. Okay. This I actually want to be a different shape than this. So to do that, you have to make sure that the edge, so what's happening is that the Shape Builder tool is not being able to differentiate between the edge of this circle and the edge of this rectangle. So you have to make sure that they're intersecting. So I'm going to get our circle and just drag it a tiny bit. See if I can do it zoomed in. See, to me it looks like they are, but I guess to the Shape Builder tool they're not. So let's select this again, bring out our Shape Builder tool. There we go. So now they're two different objects, which is what I want. Okay, and I'm going to actually remove the stroke from these, so don't need it. Okay, and we have the base, or our beginning of our D. So from here, we can make the top of our, or shape the top of the letter here, like we have for the letter B. And to do that, we just grab one of our golden ratio circles here. Okay, and we position it so that the edge of this portion of the circle meets with this edge, and the top edge of the circle meets with the top edge of the rectangle. Okay, just like so. Again, looking at these smart guides. Okay, then if I select everything and bring out my Shape Builder tool, I can delete this. I don't need it. I can combine. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I can combine, delete this. Oh, whoops. So here we have another dilemma, another case of what happened down here. The edge of the circle is not meeting up with the edge of this rectangle. So let's undo this. Bring that to the front and drag it just a tiny bit. Shift M. Nope, still not doing it. Let's see. This thing can be a real pain in the butt sometimes. What is going on here? Actually, I don't want to. I just want to move it. Let's see. If I do that, I'm not quite. That should be okay. Let's see. For the purposes of our tutorial here, that should be okay. So let's select everything here. Shift M, and yeah. Okay, so it did separate it into two different shapes. We can hold Alt, delete this shape, and delete that shape, and then combine that. And okay. So now we have our letter D, kind of looking like our letter B looks like, just in reverse. And you actually might want to make this longer. Just drag this down a tiny bit. There we go. All right. Okay, and now we're going to create the circle, or position the circles that create this shape right here. So for that, you can just grab, I deleted that circle. Oh no, here we go. We'll just Alt and duplicate this circle here. Okay, and then we're going to position this circle so that the edge lines up on the inside edge of this circle. And let's do this carefully so that we know they are intersecting. Okay, holding shift there. It's not doing it. There we go. That should work. So if I select all of this, click Shift and M, yep, we've got our two different shapes here. So we can delete this shape. All we want is this shape here. Okay. And then lastly, we want to make our shape that goes up here. Right up here. Okay, and to do that, we get our pen tool. We create an anchor point at this intersection, an anchor point at the intersection here where it meets the center of the circle. You can put this intersection anywhere really. I'm just going to pick right here. This one can go anywhere as well. This one anywhere as well. And then just reconnect it. Okay, then getting your selection tool, you're going to select everything. Holding Shift and M, it's going to bring out your shape builder tool. And again, you'll delete what you don't need. So we're going to delete this portion here, this portion there. And for some reason it's not combined, so we're just going to combine that there. Okay, and then here we have our what is going on here? Here we have our second shape. Just fix this here. There we go. Don't know what was going on there. Okay. And here we have our final shape for the letter D. And Now all I'm going to do is group all of this so that it stays together and move this right there. And then I'm going to go in and apply the gradients. So we'll go to our gradient tool here. Make sure that our gradient is the linear gradient. And we only need 2 colors. So we already have our black. We're just going to choose our purple here, which in the swatches menu I believe was this purple. Let me just copy its value. So we're going to apply that gradient to, oh, actually we have to create one more shape, and that's the one that goes up here. To do that, I'm actually just going to draw a rectangle, arrange, send it to the back, get the shape builder tool, and click the plus sign, because it's gonna, oops. There you go. Click the plus sign, because then it'll make it into its separate shape like we have there. Alright. So now let's create our gradients. So we're going to choose this shape, and we're going to make sure we have our linear gradient, and we're going to make sure this is set to RGB. Place our color there. Black, and then we're going to get our gradient tool and make sure that we're dragging from bottom to top so that it goes from purple to black. And this kind of looks okay to me, actually. Okay. Then this one, we're actually just going to get our eyedropper tool. With this selected, we're going to eyedropper this portion right here, and it should kind of apply it well. If you get this visible, a little visible line here, which you can kind of tell, what you can do is get that gradient and just adjust this little diamond slider here and move it more towards the black. And if you notice, that line starts to slowly disappear. Okay. Then we'll get this shape here, and again, eyedropper tool. This time, so if you notice how it flows, the shadow is in the inside of this shape here, not on the outside. So for here, we want the shadow to be on the inside of this shape, not on this side. So we're going to get the gradient and flip it like that. Clicking this tool, this little button right here, it should flip it. And if you notice, I'm still getting a little bit of a line there, so I'm going to grab it and drag it towards the black a little bit, and it kind of disappeared. Okay. And then the last one is this little short portion right here. Again, getting the eyedropper tool, clicking, getting the gradient tool, and dragging from the bottom to the top, and positioning it like that. And boom, we have our letter D. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drag this to the side and work on our letter C, which probably the simplest of the two. So we're going to drag our 2 circles here back into the middle of our artboard. And really all we need to do is create the edge of the C like we have our edge of the D here. So we're going to get our circle here. We'll use this guy. Actually, we need 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the set. So we need this circle right here, which I deleted. No, it is this one, because I resized them. Okay. So we're going to get this circle, And we're going to move it so that it is at the center of this circle. And to do that, we can just grab all of our circles, go to the Align tool, make sure it says Align to Artboard, align it horizontally, then vertically. Okay. Then we'll drag, holding Shift, we're going to drag that, that inner circle so that the edge meets with the intersect of that bottom portion of the circle, like that. And the same, we're going to duplicate it, holding Alt and dragging it down with Shift. Duplicate another circle at the bottom, like that. Okay, and then we're going to draw a rectangle over it. Arrange it so that that rectangle is sent to the back. Select everything. Grab our shape builder tool, which is Shift M, and delete what we don't need. To me, it looks just a little weird. It looks a little short, to be honest. So if I were to bring it up comparatively to the D, it looks a little short, but I'm going to go with it for the sake of this logo. So the last thing we need to do is create the shadows of our logo. And so to do that, actually, let me remove the stroke from here. There we go. And to do that, I'm going to get our shape builder tool. Where is it? Draw a rectangle over this area here. Arrange, send it to the back. Looks like we have a little part sticking out. Just going to delete that. Okay. Oh, looks like there's another little. Let me just move this and delete this. Not sure. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to select everything, get our shape builder tool, and delete what we don't need, which is this part, and click the plus sign on this part, which is the shape that we want to keep. Okay? And if you notice now, it is its own shape. And then we're going to duplicate the same for the top. Arrange, send to the back, select everything, Shift M, delete what you don't need, plus on what you do want to keep so that it makes it into its own shape. Alright. Then we're going to get those two shapes and apply our gradient. But we're going to flip them like that. And this guy, same thing. We're going to flip it. And there we go. There is our logo. Or there are our letters C and D. So again, the C didn't really come out as great as I wanted it to. But for the sake of this tutorial, which is really just meant to teach you guys some of these tools, looks like everything turned out pretty good. Pretty okay to me. Last thing I'm going to do is apply an effect, which is a texture. I'm going to apply some grain to our logo. Okay, and actually have to make the selection. Effect, texture, grain. And let's reduce the size here so you guys can see what's happening. It doesn't have everything selected for whatever reason. Let's do 50. That's still too big. 25. There we go. And that actually looks kind of how I want it. 30 intensity, 49 contrast. Okay. Alright, and there is our logo. Let's look at an exported version so we can really see that grain. Let's just save that to, let's just save it to our desktop real quick. Alright, and here it is. And if you look a little closely, it's got that grain texture in the background. Alright, thank you guys for joining me in this tutorial. Sorry it's pretty long. These are my first few couple videos, so I'm still trying to get the flow of things, as you can hear from the sound of my voice. But if you like the content and you appreciate it, like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me how I can improve. Be nice, of course. And have a good day. Look out for more videos. Thanks.